Anticipation is growing right now as night 2 of the Democratic National Convention is about to get underway. We have a live look now inside the United Center, where in just hours we'll be hearing from former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama. But it's not just Democrats who are speaking this week. There are several prominent Republicans who will be taking the stage in support of Vice President Kamala Harris. Let's bring in CNN special correspondent Jamie Gangel, who's been reporting on this. Would it be an unprecedented number?
I think it is an unprecedented number. From time to time, you have a Republican who speaks at a Democrat convention, vice versa. I don't think we've ever seen. This is unusual. And here's the lineup. It's over the next couple of days. Adam Kinzinger, former Republican congressman, member of the January 6th committee, also a CNN analyst. Jeff Duncan, former governor, lieutenant governor of Georgia, also works for CNN. I spoke to a source familiar with his speech and was told that it is, quote, directed at Republicans who are sick and tired of making excuses for Donald Trump. Then John Giles, mayor of Mesa, Arizona. Olivia Troy, who we've seen a lot of, who was a national security advisor for Vice President Pence. And last but not least, Stephanie Grisham, who's very interesting. She was press secretary, communications director. She was also chief of staff for Melania Trump. She knows behind the scenes. She is a true insider, and she told our colleague Jake Tapper that she will speak about who Trump, quote, really is behind the scenes.
Adam Kinzinger, the spotlight on him and the fact he just confirmed he'll be speaking on Thursday, which is a pretty plum spot.
So at conventions, real estate and the number of minutes you get, that's the key. He is getting a very big spotlight. He is speaking in prime time, leading in to Vice President Harris's speech. It doesn't get any bigger than that. And I am told that some Democrats will be envious of the number of minutes he's getting. I think it really shows a commitment by the campaign and the convention to spotlight a Republican, someone who is on the January 6th committee, democracy in peril.
No Liz Cheney.
No Liz Cheney, but I wouldn't read too much into that. Liz Cheney, as we know, has said repeatedly she will do anything and everything to make sure Donald Trump never goes back to the Oval Office. I expect we will see a lot of her this fall, that she will play a major role, especially in battleground states. And this part always makes me laugh. She has said that she will be working very, very hard to make sure that Democrats are elected to the House and Senate.
Well, a fascinating part of this convention. Jamie, thank you so much for the reporting. And let's talk now with David Urban and Ashley Allison. David, we just heard from Senator Brian Schatz of Hawaii. When he said he looks at all these Republicans who are going to be speaking, he said he thinks it gives a permission structure to some Republican voters to vote for Kamala Harris. Do you agree?
No.
Why not?
By the way, to Jamie's point about some of the Democrats being jealous of Adam Kinzinger's spot, I know one person who was very jealous, Joe Biden. I bet he'd have liked to have that spot as opposed to 11:30 last night when no one was watching.
It was late.
Listen, so I like all the people you mentioned, right? Adam Kinzinger, Jeff Duncan's a friend. I know every one of those people pretty well. They are not, in no universe were they ever going to vote for Donald Trump. They're disgruntled, let's put it that way, Republicans. And so they are not the folks who can speak to people who are on that bubble, right? All those people that are going to speak that in this lineup are people who are, they're never Trumpers. They're not going to get, those people are already going to vote either for Kamala Harris or they're not voting in this election at all. They need to get someone who is a little bit more, maybe not someone who's on the January 6th committee, right? Maybe some other Republicans who aren't so disgruntled to come speak. That may be more persuasive. I don't think you're not winning any voters over anybody on the bubble with that crew. Just factually.
I do want to turn to the headliners tonight, Ashley.
Yes.
What are you looking for tonight from the Obamas?
Well, we're in his city. We're their city.
That's right.
And he's my former
Her city.
Her
to
city.
be clear, his adopted city.
That's true. fact checking me, keeping me honest. I appreciate that.
I'm doing her the favor.
Yeah, no. But I'm really excited to hear from my former bosses. You know, I think everyone remembers in 2016 a line that we always talk about: when they go low, we go high. Well, that Michelle Obama talked about, and you know, I have shifted that line to when they go low, we match energy. And so I'm curious to see what her message is to guide us. They are still very influential, perhaps maybe the most popular elected officials, if not definitely Democrats in the space. So I do think that Barack Obama is going to paint a picture for the Americans like, you took a chance on me, you made history with me, and we can do it again with Kamala Harris. And I think he has a great voice to enable that and really introduce and lay the breadcrumbs for voters to go and pick it up and find their way.
We heard last night, and we actually just spoke to the first couple that spoke who was impacted by more restrictive state abortion measures that came after the Supreme Court overturned Roe. I want to play some of the speeches that really caught a lot of attention last night.
We waited until Amanda was sick enough to receive standard abortion care. Eventually, Amanda's temperature spiked. She was shaking, disoriented, and crashing.
Something didn't feel right. 2 emergency rooms sent me away. Because of Louisiana's abortion ban,
I was raped by my stepfather after years of sexual abuse. At age 12, I took my first pregnancy test, and it was positive. I can't imagine not having a choice.
That last one was particularly difficult to listen to, I will say. David, I wonder what you think perspectives like that mean for this race.
Yeah, that's tough. Listen, abortion is an issue that Republicans need to talk about better, right? Need to be able to better address and have better messengers on. But, you know, to be clear, Donald Trump has said that he will not sign a federal abortion ban if one is brought to his desk. They were never going to get 60 votes to get it moved anyhow to get it to his desk. And he's always been for the exception for rape, incest, and life of the mother. And so
that doesn't exist in every state.
I understand. I'm not saying that what these people didn't experience is their real life experiences and the pain they've experienced. I'm talking about in a larger political context. And in states like Pennsylvania, where the law is 23 weeks, it's tougher to make the case that they're going to, we have a Democratic governor, Democratic legislature. The law is going to be taken away from you somehow there. So.
Can you speak to that? Because I've heard Democrats from Pennsylvania say they are concerned that it doesn't resonate, that issue doesn't resonate in, say, a Pennsylvania like it would in a Texas.
Well, it's true. That's true, right?
Well, I think the issue is that can we trust what Donald Trump is saying on this issue? So when Donald Trump appointed 3 Supreme Court justices, they said they wanted to take it to the states. And then when Roe was overturned, within weeks, we had Lindsey Graham introducing legislation that would be a federal abortion ban. And he has teetered on this issue. He has not been consistent. He said he is proud that he overturned Roe. So I get that he can say that he won't sign an abortion ban now because it might be politically savvy for him. But that's why the people in Pennsylvania need to care about it, because if it doesn't resonate now, if Donald Trump gets in and he signs it, it will be an issue for you. So I think though, like, to the point of, it says 1 in 3 women in this country are living under an abortion ban right now. 1 in 3. Okay, so 1 out of all of us is basically living in that reality. And Hadley said something last night that I just think is a reminder. It is that we don't need doctors, or we don't need politicians or our government in our doctor's office. But she said, I can't imagine a child carrying their parent's child. We don't have to live in that reality, but we have to trust our politicians to do the right thing. And to date, the Republicans haven't messaged it right, and they haven't governed right on this issue, and they're out of step with the American people.
Listen, the Republicans got to have a better answer for it. It's tough. Again, just the Pennsylvania part, I don't believe it's going to be as salient an issue in Pennsylvania, because I do believe people look at it and say, it's not my reality in Pennsylvania. It is a lot of realities in Louisiana, Texas, other places, but not in Pennsylvania. May not be as big an issue in some of those other blue wall states, right? And that's where it matters.
It just wasn't my reality before Roe fell either, though. Yeah. And that's the reality. It's like, nothing is your reality until the politician or the justices do something to make it your reality. And that's what Democrats have to convey to Pennsylvania voters.
Ashley, David, Jamie, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.